Hi everyone, welcome to our kitchen here at PlantPure. I'm Kim Campbell and we're live. We're live. If you're new to these shows, we go live every Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we make all kinds of food. We've done over 40 of these, so check out our YouTube channel. There's lots of recipes to experiment with. Before we get started with the recipe, if you have questions about the recipe, it should be in the show notes below. Everything that we talk about is in the show notes below. So tonight we're making risotto. We're making Instant Pot Thai green curry risotto. I know that's a mouthful. I couldn't decide what to name it, so I named it everything. Tonight we're going to use the Instant Pot, and I know some of you don't have an Instant Pot, so I gave you the stovetop directions. I'm not going to make it stovetop tonight because a lot of people have been asking for Instant Pot recipes. A lot of people have asked me why I don't write an Instant Pot cookbook, and I don't use my Instant Pot excessively. I use it, but I probably don't use it as much as my friend Kathy Hester, who lives in Durham, which isn't far from me. She wrote a book called The Ultimate Vegan Cookbook for Your Instant Pot. So if you want a lot of whole food, plant-based, no oil recipes, I would go to her. She is kind of the queen of the Instant Pot and the air fryer. She's written about 10 cookbooks. This is a wonderful cookbook. So I'll set that aside. All right, so the Instant Pot, there's different sizes. I have one going. I already did a risotto and it's done. And I'm going to make one in my bigger Instant Pot. I have a 6-quart and I have a 3-quart. And they work perfectly for us. I usually use my mini. The 3-quart is a mini. But tonight I'm going to put everything in my 6-quart. The top, I'll take the top off. It has little handles that you can put the top on. What's nice about the Instant Pot is you can do everything. I'm not even going to use the stove tonight. You can do everything in your Instant Pot right in it. That's why it's great for camping. It's great for, Nelson and I have taken it to hotel rooms. It's just really, really nice. So I'll kind of walk you through some things that I do with the Instant Pot. Don't be intimidated by your Instant Pot. Start practicing with rice and practice with beans and simple things because it's a great little handy, it's probably one of my top 5 appliances in the kitchen. So risotto. A lot of people are intimidated by risotto, and I know when I went through the Ruby Culinary program, we had to learn how to make risotto. There's a little bit of a science to it. I sort of broke those rules. A lot of people are making it in the Instant Pot. It's so easy, you don't have to babysit. It's one of those recipes that you do a lot of stirring and you have to use the right kind of rice. It's very creamy. It's a northern Italian dish. It's got kind of a pasta sort of feel to it, but it's actually rice. Tonight we're going to use arborio rice, and it's white rice. There is an arborio rice that you can buy and it's brown. It's a little harder to find, and I could not find it. You can also use short grain brown rice. But if you're new to risotto and you've never had it before, I suggest that you use the white rice.
Hey, okay. Kim, Debbie has a question. Could she use her 8-quart Instant Pot as well as the 6?
You can use any size Instant Pot. 8-quart will work fine. It's perfectly fine. So Nelson always wants me to share this with you. So if you look at what we have tonight, we have it every single week. All these vegetables. They're green. The theme is green, but we have a ton of vegetables, and we have starch. It's just a great way to eat. You're getting all kinds of fiber. So if you're worried about the white rice, you're going to get fiber in everything else that we're eating. So are we ready? Can we get started?
We can. Someone here is asking about your cookbook again.
I have two cookbooks.
Well, I mean the new cookbook.
Yeah. If you're new and you're just joining us for the very first time, I have 2 cookbooks that you can find on Amazon or on our website, and I am working on getting another one published. So we're working on that. We may self-publish it. So, but a lot of the recipes in the new book that we do those on live. So this is in the new book. So you guys are my testers. The first thing you want to do with your Instant Pot is you want to turn the saute button on, and there's a saute button over here, and what it will do is, I thought I had it on, and it will start heating up the pot. If you are confused, always go back to the cancel button right here, and you can cancel and you can start it all over again. So I'm going to go back to the saute button, and I always test it with my hands. It's getting hot. And we're going to saute in there, and we're going to start. I don't have any white onions. If you don't have green onions, you could also use a white onion. You could use a shallot. You could use leeks. Anything in the allium family would be nice. So we're going to throw these in here. This is such an easy recipe. I know it looks like I've got a lot going on here, but when you see it all go into the pot, you'll be surprised. So we're going to put the 6 to 8 green onions. I just bought one of those bundles and I chopped it all up. And then I had 3 celery stalks, and then garlic cloves. We're going to put those in too. And you want to make sure that you don't burn this because garlic has a really bitter flavor when you burn it. I didn't put any oil in the pan, and I think the camera's up above so you can kind of see what's going on. And then we're going to have jalapeno peppers. I took the seeds, I took the ribs out, so it shouldn't be too hot. If you want to skip the jalapeno pepper, you can. You could use a poblano pepper, or you could just use a green pepper if you'd like. And then we're going to use mushrooms, 8 ounces of mushrooms. I bought shiitake mushrooms that look like this, and they're just a little bit meatier. They're a little more expensive, but they have that nice medium. You're making a risotto. To me, this is going to be the meat replacement tonight.
Kim, can you use brown arborio rice?
You can. You absolutely can. The only difference is that your cook time is going to be a little different. I'm cooking this for 6 minutes, high pressure. If you're making brown rice, you're going to cook it for between 21 to 23 minutes, somewhere in there. I would go with 20 minutes if you're using. And if you're using short grain brown rice, same thing, about 20 to 22 minutes. So we're going to start stirring it. If you notice, I always keep veg broth. Tonight we're using wine. We're going to use a white wine to saute with. Most risottos use wine. If you don't keep wine in your house and you don't want to use wine, you can just use vegetable broth and put a little splash of lemon juice in it. That'll help give it a little zip. You could even put a little bit of apple juice in it if you want to. Not too much though, because you don't want it sweet.
Now here's a question, Kim, I know the answer to, because you have cooked it before. Do you have a tamale recipe?
I'm working on it, actually. Yes, I am working on a tamale. I love tamales with green verde sauce on it. So yes, I'm working on it.
Now you've done it before, though. It's really
I have done it. It's been a while.
So you're perfecting it.
Okay, we're going to use ginger paste. I'm using a tablespoon of ginger paste. And I just buy, you guys know me, I don't run it on my microplane. I just buy the ginger paste in the produce section. It makes life so much easier, especially if you use a lot of ginger, which I do. All right, now it's starting to stick a little bit.
If you do use the brown rice, Kim, will it still be creamy, just as creamy?
It will be if you're just using straight brown, long grain brown rice, it won't. You really want to use a short grain rice, so I'd go with short grain brown rice, or you can use a brown arborio rice. All right, this is starting to stick, so I'm just going to put a little bit of white wine in here, just so it doesn't stick. All right, I'm going to go down fast so I don't burn anything. Then I'm going to add cilantro, and this is funny. Nelson hates cilantro. Does not like it on anything. So I put it in here and I didn't tell him. And he never knew it was in there. So something about when you cook it and the flavors, he didn't notice it. So if you think you don't like cilantro, you should try it in this recipe because it's very good. And then basil, just a little bit. I just chopped up a little top of a basil. And then you're going to saute this down. So while it's sauteing, I want to talk to you about the finished product. So I had in my mini, you can see that over here, I did this at 6 o'clock before the show, and it's done. So you can see, let me move these spinaches. You can see that it came down, it counts down, and you'll see that when we do this one. It counts down, and then it goes into a low, sort of a warm mode. and it will stay there for 10 hours. I've never kept it on for 10 hours, but it will stay there for 10 hours. So if I want to open this up at, 8 o'clock tonight, it'll still be warm. But what I'm going to do is release the pressure, because I don't really, oops, it's already released.
Kim, does ginger paste have added oil?
No, the brand that I get, Gourmet Garden, does not have any added oils. But if you buy, they have lemongrass, they have garlic, they have different things. Some of them do have oil, but this one does not.
And a couple people said that they're having a hard time hearing me. I think I was getting lazy and holding the mic away from my face. So hopefully I sound better now. Let me know if you can't hear me.
Okay, so now we're going to add, I forgot the curry paste, so I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of that. I love this stuff. I use it a lot. It's called Thai Kitchen Green Curry Paste, and the reason I like it, I don't know where to show it, is it's not spicy, it's not really hot, it's very mild, almost has a sweetness to it, and I put it in a lot of stuff. The ingredients are green chili pepper, garlic, lemongrass, spices, salt, shallots, and lime peel. It's really, really nice. So you can find it in your grocery store if you go to the Asian section where you see the coconut milks and things like that. They almost always have this, and they have a red one and they have a green one. The green one is mild, the red one is hot. I'll leave that out. So we've got everything in there, and we're going to keep on sauteing this, and we'll add the miso paste. Remember last week I talked about umami. Umami is a really nice, that 5th flavor. We're going to put that in there. That'll give it a nice savory taste. And that'll kind of cook down and dissolve, so don't worry about it. It looks a little bit clumpy when you first put it in, but that's okay. And then we'll add the arborio rice, and I'm going to put this over the camera so you can see it, but it's definitely not long grain, it's short grain. And it's gonna actually get a lot creamier than just a regular long grain rice. It's nice to actually cook this with the white, and then if you like it, try the brown, but the white is really nice. So then we're going to do this whole process called toasting, and we're going to add the rest of the wine. And toasting, what it does is it just kind of cooks it literally toasts the rice, and the outside of the rice will start to absorb some of the flavors, and it'll start to toast and get really warm, and then we'll go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients. So what's nice about the Instant Pot is that you can build flavors. You know how I always start a recipe with a pepper and an onion? Well, you can do that in the Instant Pot, and then you can cook it under high pressure. And also, you want to give it about 3 or 4 minutes so that the alcohol in the wine cooks off. And don't use red wine, use white wine for this. The thing about risotto is you can add any vegetable you want to it, any flavor you want. It's typically made with onions and mushrooms. Sometimes they put cream in it. You don't really need to put cream in it. I met a woman, she's a chef, and she actually made risotto, plant-based chef, and she used coconut milk. So if you wanted it a little bit creamier, I suppose you could use 1/4 cup and try to get it creamier that way. All right, so I can smell the wine is starting to cook off. This stuff smells so, so good. So while it's doing that, I'm going to open up this one. I'm going to move some of this stuff. Okay. Bring it over. Everything's going to go flying tonight. All right. All right, so you can see how really creamy that is. And this is a good time to put your spinach in. I'm going to put about 3 cups in. I put spinach in a lot of things, and it'll wilt. So we'll go ahead and...
Hey Kim, Janice doesn't cook with wine. Is there any substitute that would still kind of give it that flavor? That
yes,
wine does?
It's not going to give it the exact wine flavor, but you could use I wouldn't use a fruit juice. I might use just more vegetable broth and a little bit of lemon juice. Some people say vinegar, some people say not, but if you're going to use a little vinegar, I wouldn't use a lot. You could use a red wine vinegar, or maybe a white wine vinegar, maybe a tablespoon, and then just use a half a cup of the veg broth. I'm trying, I'm having a hard time talking because I'm doing two things at once here, and I don't want to burn this in front of you. So my rice is really toasting up. It's starting to stick to the bottom, and that's good. All those flavors are building. I use a lot of spinach when I cook, you guys.
And Kim, if you don't have spinach or Swiss chard, what's another good green that you could use?
You could use, if you use kale for this, chop it up really small, because kale can be, it can be tough if you don't chop it up really well. There. I'm just going to let it sit for a bit before we serve it. Put it over here. All right, so I'm going to turn this off. So I just go over to my cancel feature. I'm going to turn it off. I don't want it to be on high anymore. I'm going to add some of the vegetable broth. I have 2 cups of vegetable broth. And I'm going to see if I can get some of that good flavor off the bottom of the Instant Pot. Okay. So you're going to add your edamame. I just use frozen edamame beans. You could also use, that's just cilantro. You could also use peas, but if you're going to use peas in this, I would wait and add the peas when you add the spinach, because peas will just dissolve in a pressure cooker. Edamame is just a little bit firmer, and I didn't worry about that too much.
Hey Kim, what cookbook is your stuffed cabbage roll recipe in? You have
I think
one,
that
right?
is in PlantPure Kitchen cookbook, cabbage rolls. So while I'm doing this, I will tell you that every Friday we send out a letter with the recipe that we're going to do next Thursday. And I thought I had a recipe all set. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't like it at all. We played around with it this week. I don't have a recipe for next week, and I have to have it so you get it tomorrow. So if you have any suggestions in the chat box, give me some ideas. I would love to have ideas. All right, you can see this is pretty watery. We're going to go ahead and put the top on. I went slow, but that really is not a long recipe at all. You want it, after you get your top on, you heard it sing. That's how you know it's on. It's on. Sometimes when you first get your Instant Pot, it's kind of hard to manipulate that. And then you want to close the valve. You want to seal it, because if you don't seal it, it's going to keep spitting out steam. So you want to make sure it's sealed. That way it'll hold all the pressure in. Then you want to go over to the manual, and I'm going to put it at 6 minutes. It always starts at whatever I used it for before. I'm going to go all the way down to 6 minutes, because that's all I need for the white arborio.
Hey Kim, what is the brand of veggie broth that you used?
Okay, I'm embarrassed because I couldn't find, I usually use kitchen stock, but all I could find was Pacific Foods. It's low sodium, but it's not no sodium. The other one I get, Kitchen Basics, I think it's called. I don't know if I have one behind me. It doesn't have any sodium, no added sodium. This one does. It's a little bit more than I would use. All right, so you'll see all these buttons. This is where I'm going to give you a little bit of a lesson. You'll see all these buttons: poultry, chili, meat, soup. They're just preset buttons. I never use any of them. The only thing I ever use on this is the saute button and the manual, the high pressure. That's it. And I use it for rice, I use it for beans, I make soups in it. I don't use it every day, but I use it quite a bit. And then what happens is it says it's on, but it's not timing. The reason is it's getting hot in there and it's building up pressure. So the more stuff you have in there, the longer it's going to take to come to pressure. Once it starts to come to pressure, it'll start counting down. So you'll see 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then I'll release it. It's called a quick release, and I don't know if we'll still be on or not, but it's a quick release and it will be done. That's it. That's what you saw me do over here. All right, the garnishings for this are lime, Nelson's cilantro. That's for you, Nelson. And then I have some toasted sesame seeds. I'll go ahead and stick this in here.
Hey, Kim, a couple people also are asking, do you have a potato curry dish? A potato curry with dosis. I don't know what that is.
I kind of do have a potato curry. It's another Thai, sort of a Thai flavor, but yeah, I think I do. I have to look in there. It's potato curries. It's really, really simple. Yeah. All right, so put this over here. And it's very green and very good. We've had this a lot in the last couple of weeks because I was playing around with it. This is the inner pot that goes in the Instant Pot, so make sure you put the inner pot in it and then build your recipe. There actually are people who don't do that, so and I use my Instant Pot to make yogurt with too. I don't get paid from Instant Pot, but I do love this little gadget. So then we'll put a little bit of sesame seeds on the top. Oops. And really, risotto, you don't even have to put all these vegetables in if you don't feel like taking the time. That's cilantro, a little bit of lime. And that's it. I think this one, Nelson, is the best one we've made yet.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's very good. So, are there any questions on the Instant Pot? If you bought an Instant Pot and you're intimidated to use it, I urge you to go look at some YouTube lessons, get it out, play around with rice, try it, because once you start using it, you will never go back.
And we have a very loud freight train going through
I hear the
Mebane right
train.
now, so I don't know if people hear that. But Lynn is asking, do you buy your own sesame seeds already toasted, or do you toast them?
I toast them, but you can buy them toasted. I just put them on the stove and I toast them. And when you toast them, they taste so much better than when they're not toasted. And you can add them to things. You can actually grind them. You can make dressings with them. It just makes all the difference. So I definitely do that. So next week, I'm not sure. I'm thinking soup and salad. I'm thinking cookies. So I guess it'll be your surprise.
One thing I would say, Kim, is this might be a good opportunity to let people know again that if they subscribe, which they can do at plantpurenation.com, scroll down the page. Also, I think there may be a button in the show notes here. But if you subscribe, the week before, you'll get the recipe and grocery list for the next week.
Right. So tomorrow I put out the grocery list, and a lot of times they're brand new recipes, which is really fun. It won't be brand new tomorrow, but it will be a recipe. And you'll get that on Friday. And then you can set up, if you're going to cook along with me, you can set up and we can cook together. We're also going to be doing some Chibo shows here coming up too. And if you don't know what Chibo is, look up Chibo. They do a lot of online cook-alongs, but they're much more in depth, and I'm going to get into some more techniques and different strategies. So we'll be sharing that with you too.
And we had a couple questions as to whether you have a yogurt recipe and a lentil loaf recipe. And I know that you have both of those.
I have a yogurt recipe. It's on our website. And we did a show a while back on cheeses and yogurt, so check out that show. I have a yogurt recipe and a lentil loaf. I have a beanie loaf. And the beanie loaf is in the PlantPure Nation cookbook, so you can find that. All right. It's cold and rainy in North Carolina, very cold. It feels like snow, but I don't think it's going to be snow. So have a great Valentine's Day. I hope you enjoy your chocolates and you do something special. And I'll see you back here next week. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you back here in a week. Thanks for joining us.